Thank you, dear friend, for being here today. If you're a Pisces, and your eyes have landed on this video, this is not a coincidence. It's not just another random moment on the internet. This is a sacred call. Echoing from somewhere far deeper than your mind, it comes from your soul. A soft but powerful whisper from the universe, gently urging you to pause and listen. Because what you're about to hear, you were always meant to receive. Lately, have you felt an exhaustion you can't explain? A strange sadness that doesn't seem to belong to you? Dreams that leave you feeling heavy even when you wake? If so, you're not imagining it. There's a reason. A hidden energy has been quietly surrounding you. And here's the part that may send chills down your spine. Someone is holding your photo on an altar. Not a physical altar, perhaps, but an energetic one. A memory, a bond, a keepsake. And through it, they are still connected to your energy, and they are draining it. But why? Why you? And who are they? There are two feminine energies, a mother and a daughter, and they have placed you at the center of their emotional web. Not to curse you, but to keep you close, to freeze you in time. And while the world sees you smile, inside, a part of you feels like it's stuck in someone else's story. But tonight, that ends. Because tonight, you remember who you are. This is more than a video. It's a spiritual unraveling, a journey through the hidden realms of soul contracts, karmic cords, silent rituals, and the power to call your own energy back. It will stir memories. It may bring tears, but it will awaken the power you forgot. You had the power to be free. So grab a warm cup of tea or coffee. Find a quiet space. Sit back, breathe deep, and open your heart, not just to this message, but to the parts of yourself that are finally ready to return home. And if you're already feeling it, that strange inner pull, that deep yes, you can't explain, let the universe know you're listening. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and comment below, I am ready to reclaim my energy. Because at the very end of this video, there is a sacred ritual waiting for you. A powerful moment that could shift your entire spiritual vibration. Are you ready to remember what they tried to make you forget? Let's begin. Have you ever felt tired? But not just tired, a kind of bone-deep weariness that sleep can't touch, that no amount of rest seems to fix. It's not the exhaustion from long hours at work, or emotional burnout from a difficult conversation. It's something else. A kind of sacred exhaustion, ancient, heavy, mysterious, like you're swimming through an invisible current, like you've been moving through your life with a quiet weight strapped to your back, and you don't even know where it came from. You wake up with it. You go to sleep with it. Sometimes, in the middle of a seemingly normal day, it washes over you, that fog of numbness, the sudden tightness in your chest, or a sadness you can't explain. You might even cry and not know why. Or find yourself angry at something small, but deep down, you're not angry at the thing. You're angry at the invisible chains you can't name. But here's what most people don't understand. This isn't your pain. Not all of it. Some of it belongs to someone else. There is a ritual that's been happening around you, and you've never even seen it. Not a ritual of magic and curses, but something far more subtle and more dangerous. A ritual of memory, of longing, of emotional imprisonment. It's what I call an emotional altar. And you, dear Pisces, have been placed upon it. Maybe it started with a photo, a gift, a letter, a simple object that once held love. but has now become a key, a way for someone to hold on to your energy. They've been whispering your name in silence, not to bless you, but to call you back into the version of yourself they could control. And slowly, without knowing, your soul began leaking into that memory. You've been feeling drained, not because you're broken, but because you're being pulled in two directions. Your present self trying to evolve, and your energetic imprint trapped in someone else's past. This is what I call a ritual of the heart. Not one performed with dark intentions, but with fear. The fear of losing you, the fear of change, the fear of their own pain. And so they held you in place emotionally, spiritually freezing you in time, like a delicate figurine on the shelf of their memory. And you, dear Pisces, being the empathetic, dreamy soul that you are, allowed it. Not because you are weak, but because your compassion is limitless, because your heart was never designed to abandon. You stayed, energetically, silently, even when you walked away in the physical world. Who are they? Perhaps it was a mother one, who loved you in the only way she knew how, which was to clip your wings in the name of protection. Perhaps it was a friend, someone who saw your light and mistook it for salvation, who needed you to stay small so they wouldn't feel left behind. Or maybe it was a past lover, a soul who called your love home and could never bear to see you outgrow the house they built for you. But make no mistake, they still have your photo. Maybe not on their wall, but in their mind, in their heart, in their emotional field. And when they look at it physically or energetically, they perform the ritual, the longing, the remembering, the keeping. And your energy, like water, flows toward where it is drawn. This is why you've been tired. This is why even on your best days you feel like something's missing, because a piece of you is still sitting on that altar, glowing softly, waiting to be reclaimed. And now that you know, you get to choose. It was never because you were weak. That's the biggest misunderstanding of all. People often think they are being held back because they're not strong enough to break free. But the truth is, the reason they hold you is because you shine too brightly. You are light, Pisces. Pure, intuitive, healing light. And when your light touched them, when it flooded into their world like morning sun through closed curtains, they didn't feel warmth. They felt exposed. Your presence didn't just comfort them. It revealed them. It showed them parts of themselves they weren't ready to see, the sadness they buried, the rage they suppressed, the truth they spent years hiding from. And instead of facing those shadows, they chose to hold you still, to cage the light, so they would no longer have to look into their own darkness. They didn't chain you with cruelty. They wrapped you in the illusion of love, independence, in guilt, in 1,000 tiny moments that whispered, "Don't leave me." But that whisper was never really about love. It was about fear, because your evolution, your freedom, meant they would have to face their own stagnation. That's why they kept your energy in the version of you they could manage, the quiet one, the giving one, the broken one, who needed fixing. They held on to the version of you who sacrificed their own dreams just to keep the peace, because that version was easier. That version didn't challenge them to grow. That version made them feel safe, and in doing so, they weren't just binding you, they were asking you silently, subtly, to carry a weight that was never yours. An emotional debt, a karmic pattern, a spiritual burden that may not have even begun with them or with you, because for many of you, this goes deeper than this lifetime. You aren't just carrying their pain, you're carrying ancestral pain, lineage wounds, a thread of energy that stretches back through generations, mothers who were silenced, daughters who were sacrificed, love that was lost and never properly grieved. You, dear soul, may be the first in your family line who dares to break free. And because of that, you've been handed the emotional bill that no one before you had the courage to pay. Your soul came into this life with a silent vow. I will be the one to end it. End the cycle. End the guilt. End the invisibility. But here's the thing no one tells you. Ending a cycle doesn't look like triumph. At first, it looks like exhaustion. It looks like confusion. It looks like isolation and breakdowns and sleepless nights wondering, what's wrong with me? Because you are feeling not just your pain, but the pain of generations flowing through you, like a storm trying to leave your body. They didn't mean to burden you, not fully, but they sensed your power, even if they couldn't name it, even if they resented it. And so they leaned on you. They projected onto you. They attached themselves to your energy and called it love. But it was never love if it required you to stay small. It was never love if it made your wings feel like chains. And now, the universe is offering you a choice not to blame, not to hate, not to confront, but to reclaim, to take back your name, to remember who you were before they needed you to forget. Because your soul is not just your own. It is the culmination of everything your ancestors could not finish, and everything your descendants will inherit from your courage. You are the turning point. And this is the moment it begins. You were never fragile. You were never small. You were never the one who needed saving. But somewhere along the way, you began to believe that maybe you were. Because when people poured their shadows into you, when they handed you their sadness like an heirloom and told you it was just love, you carried it, without question, without protest, without ever realizing that weight was never yours to hold. And then, when the cracks began to show, when your voice trembled, when your soul begged for space, they didn't thank you for all the light you gave. No, they blamed you for not shining like before. You became the place they stored their disappointments, the container for their brokenness, the soft landing for their projections. And then they turned away and asked why you were so heavy. But here's the miracle no one expected. Your light never went out, even when it was buried, even when it flickered in silence, even when you forgot how to look in the mirror. Without seeing their stories written on your face, your light waited, quietly, patiently, fiercely. It never left you. It never stopped believing you would come back. You are not broken. You are rebirthing. You are not lost. You are returning. You are not small. You were simply wrapped too tightly in a skin that didn't belong to you. And now, piece by piece, breath by breath, you are unwrapping. You are releasing. You are rising. You are remembering. I no longer live in the version of me you once knew. And more than that, I do not belong on any altar, except the altar of light within my own heart. Let those words become your shield. Let them echo through every cell of your being. Whisper them when the guilt creeps in. Write them when the past tries to open its mouth. Breathe them when the weight of old versions tries to settle back on your shoulders. Because this is your truth now. Not the stories they wrote for you. Not the identity you wore like armor just to survive their expectations. Not the hollow yes you said when your soul was screaming no. You were not made to serve at the cost of your spirit. You were not designed to be a healer who never gets to heal. You were not born to carry lineages of pain just so others wouldn't feel alone. You are not here to dim. You are here to disrupt, to rewrite, to reclaim. There is power in choosing yourself, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a quiet, sacred, undeniable truth. You no longer need their approval. You no longer seek their understanding. You no longer trade your light for a seat at a table that was never built for you to feast at. And that is freedom. Not revenge, not distance, not bitterness, but clarity. The kind of clarity that turns silence into sovereignty. The kind that lets you walk away not because you're angry, but because you've finally remembered the worth of your energy. They may still talk about you in rooms you've left behind. They may still whisper stories to keep themselves comfortable. They may still stare at the version of you they trapped in memory, hoping you'll come back. Just once more, just for a moment. But that version is no longer alive, and you are no longer accessible through the wounds they once used to reach you. You are different now. You are the one who didn't shatter. You are the one who learned to hold your own heart. You are the one who lit your candle again, in the dark, with trembling hands, and a soul that refused to give up. And that, dear one, is everything. You don't need revenge. You don't need confrontation. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You only need one thing to choose yourself again. Not the version of you that begged for love. Not the one who dimmed her light to keep peace. Not the one who slept with heavy dreams and woke with invisible bruises. You are not here to fight shadows. You are here to reclaim the Sunday, and this moment right now is the sacred doorway, the one your soul has been waiting for, the one your ancestors whispered about, the one the universe gently, persistently led you toward until you stopped long enough to listen. This is not about drama. This is not about loud spells or complex rituals. This is about sincerity, intention, a soul finally saying, "Enough, I am ready to come home." So, breathe, slowly, gently. Let your body soften. Find a quiet space, one where the world fades away. Sit down. Place one hand over your heart, the place where everything begins, and gather these 3 items. 1. A single white candle. This is the symbol of your soul's pure light. Even when covered, it never vanished. You will light it not to invite something outside yourself, but to awaken the fire within. 2. A clear glass of water. Water remembers. It holds memory, emotion, vibration. It will carry your pain away. It will cleanse you without judgment. Just as tears fall not from weakness, but from release, this water will catch what your heart no longer wishes to hold. 3. And a small bowl of salt. Simple, ancient, pure. Salt is the protector, the purifier. It doesn't just cleanse energy, it seals your space. It reminds every lingering thread that your soul is sacred territory now. Sit with these in front of you. Let the candle flicker. Watch how it dances like your own light, beginning to move again, after being still for too long. Now take a piece of paper, nothing fancy, just enough space for the truth. Write what you are ready to release. A name, a memory, a symbol, a weight that's lived in your chest for far too long. Be specific or vague. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it is honest. What matters is that it comes from you. You are not cursing. You are not harming. You are simply declaring, "This is no longer mine to carry." When you are done, Hold the paper with reverence. It is the final thread. And now you will burn it. Watch it curl into ash. Let the fire transform it. Let the smoke carry it beyond your reach. And then quietly place your hand back on your heart. Close your eyes. Feel the quiet. And say this, aloud or within, with all the sincerity your soul can offer. I call my soul back to me now. I call back every piece of my light, my energy, and my power. I release every invisible cord, every unspoken curse, every vow made in pain. I do not consent to carry what was never mine. I do not belong on any altar, but the altar of light within my own heart. Let those words wrap around you like a blanket of truth. Let them echo into every room where you once abandoned yourself just to be loved. Now take a pinch of salt. Touch it gently to your forehead to clear your mind, to remind you that your thoughts are yours again. Then touch your heart to reclaim every feeling that was ever manipulated or shamed. And finally, touch your hands to bless every action you will now take in alignment with your truth. This is not a performance. This is remembrance. You are not asking for power. You are recognizing that it was never taken, only forgotten. And the most miraculous part? Energy does not need complexity to be powerful. A single breath spoken with full presence can shatter chains that were built over generations. So tonight, when you lay down to rest, you may feel something shift. A softness, a quiet, a warmth beneath your ribs that wasn't there before. That is your soul. That is you. Finally home. They feel it. The moment your soul begins to stir, the moment your energy starts calling itself back home, they feel it, the ones who once held your light like a lifeline. The moment you start rising, they sense the shift. Not because they love you, not because they've changed, but because they're losing control. They return not out of care, but out of hunger. They were never prepared for your healing. They were comfortable with your wounds, because those wounds kept you close, predictable, bound. But now, something in you is different. The sadness no longer tastes the same. The pain no longer fits like it used to. You are remembering who you are, and that terrifies them, but they won't show up in rage. No, it will be subtle. A late-night text, a song you both used to love, a dream that wakes you up with a heaviness you can't quite name. They will come gently, carefully, like shadows wearing the mask of nostalgia. Just checking in, they'll say. I've been thinking about you. I'm sorry for everything. And for a moment, your heart may tremble, not because you still love them, but because part of you remembers how much it hurt to let go. Don't open the door too quickly. They are not here to honor your healing. They're here to test your boundaries, to see if the version of you they once knew still exists, the version that sacrificed for peace, that stayed for fear, that gave and gave, until she forgot she could choose herself. But you are no longer that version. You don't owe anyone your regression, just because they arrive wrapped in old comfort. You don't owe your energy to those who only loved you when you were dim enough to control. The past will always try to resurrect itself when it sees you thriving. Not because it misses you, but because it misses the version of you that didn't know better. You know better now, so when the familiar knock comes, in the form of a message, a memory, a moment of weakness, pause. Breathe. Feel what your body tells you. That tightness in your chest, that sinking in your gut, that's not longing. That's your intuition, saying, this energy is not safe anymore. You don't need to be cruel. You don't need to reply. You don't even need to explain. You simply need to stay rooted in your light and say, with quiet certainty, I no longer live in the frequency you once knew. I choose freedom over familiar pain. Because the truth is, anyone who truly loved you would never have needed to chain you to a version of yourself that no longer exists. Anyone who truly sees you would celebrate your growth, not mourn their loss of power over you. You are not cold. You are clear. You are not distant. You are discerning. And your clarity is the flame they can no longer walk through. So let them knock. Let them whisper. Let them send the dreams and the signs and the bait wrapped in golden words. Let them come and let them go. You are the doorway now. You are the altar. You are the light. Let your affirmation become your shield. I do not return to what broke me, no matter how sweetly it calls my name. I choose myself. I choose truth. I choose peace. And if the memories come creeping in the night, lay your hand on your heart and say it again, gently. I am not who I was. I do not live there anymore. I am free. And now, if you've made it here, to this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, then something sacred has already begun. Maybe your chest feels a little lighter. Maybe your thoughts have softened. Maybe, for the first time in a very long time, you feel yourself coming home to a version of you that you thought had been lost forever, but it was never lost. Your soul has been waiting, quietly, patiently, watching over you like a candle that never fully went out even in your darkest hours. This journey wasn't just about breaking free from someone else's altar. It was about remembering that your life is the altar. You are the living flame. You are the prayer answered. You are the miracle you were once taught to beg for. And now that you've taken this step, now that you've called your energy back, now that you've spoken your name into the silence, you are already shifting your future. Every cell of your body can feel it. Every fiber of your spirit is awakening to a new rhythm. This is your return. This is your resurrection. This is the moment where the past no longer has power, and your presence becomes your liberation. And what comes next is sacred. You will begin to sleep deeper. Your intuition will sharpen. The wrong doors will close faster, not because of luck, but because your light has changed the locks. The universe is listening now, not because you begged, but because you remembered who you are. So if something stirred inside you today, if even a flicker of light found its way into the shadow, I want you to write these words in the comments below. I call my soul back to me. Write it as a declaration. Write it as a promise. Write it for every version of you that ever felt abandoned, confused, or unworthy. Let your voice become a ripple in this sacred collective. Because every word you share is not just yours. It becomes healing for someone else too. And if you've ever experienced a moment where you felt mysteriously protected, a strange synchronicity, a whisper of grace, I invite you to share that story below. Your story could be the sign someone else has been waiting for. If this message spoke to your spirit today, I would be so honored if you'd like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone you care about. You never know who needs this light right now. And if you feel called to support this sacred space through a super thanks, thank you. Every offering you give helps me continue to share these healing messages with people all over the world who are quietly seeking their way back home to themselves. And most importantly, keep your heart open, because in the next video, we're going even deeper. I'll be sharing about ancestral soul contracts, mysterious ties that continue to bind you across lifetimes, and how to finally release them. It's going to be powerful. You won't want to miss it. Your voice matters here. Your presence matters. This channel exists because of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. And remember, you no longer need to be saved. You are the miracle you were waiting for. You are worthy of love, of joy, of abundance in this lifetime, not the next. So I'll see you soon. Until then, stay luminous, stay brave, and stay close to the altar of your own light. With all my heart, see you in the next video.